James St. James with WOW Presents. I'm here with the fabulous, the wonderful, the gorgeous Bethany Yellowtail. It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really good.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
We just started a series with you called
Alternative.
And it follows a year in the life of Bethany Yellowtail, and it's on the Storycast YouTube channel, and they've partnered with ITVS and PBS Digital Studios. So tell us how many episodes there are and what we can expect from it.
So there are 6 episodes that follow my journey through art, activism, and fashion, and they're about 7 to 10 minutes long, and it'll really show my transformation as taking on the role as understanding that fashion can be a catalyst for the message for Indigenous people.
In the first episode, you are talking about your Sun Road woman dress, the power dress.
Yeah.
It's a design that's very personal to you. Talk a little bit about that, and then what happened when you saw it ripped off.
Yeah. Well, actually, the Sun Road woman dress was inspired out of a time where I was going through a breakup.
You talk about
Yes,
that, yes.
yes.
It's very hard on you in the very beginning of the show.
I was so pitiful. That experience really shaped me into moving forward. Now I'm so grateful, you know.
Well, it's a journey.
It's totally
You've
a journey.
totally been on a journey.
Totally. I thought I was the love of my life, but I'm the love of my life.
Oh,
So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, but Sun Road Woman Dress is actually my name in Cheyenne is Ishit Hemit Noah.
You're Crow and Cheyenne.
Crow and Cheyenne.
And from Montana.
Yes,
Yeah.
from Montana. So in Cheyenne, Ishit Hemit Noah means Sun Road Woman. But before that, I did a design that was inspired by regalia from my great-grandmother, Irene Not Afraid Yellowtail. And that piece...
I love that name. That's
Yeah,
good.
we have some great last names,
Yeah.
but the design was from her purse, and my family gave me permission to use that design. So I put it on a dress, and it was the very first dress that I put out when I launched Be Yellowtail. And so it was very exciting and personal, and it was something that was my family and really was sharing my story.
And it's a power dress.
And
It's one of those dresses that looks great on everyone.
Yeah, totally.
And it's an important dress for you personally and professionally.
Yeah, and also it symbolizes my community. And so when we saw it ripped off at Fashion Week, it was so personal, and it really just gutted me at that moment.
Do you have a legal recourse when something like that happens, or is it?
I mean, there are protections for Native American artists. There's the Indian Arts and Crafts Act, which is federal law that protects Indigenous people's designs.
There are so many people like Urban Outfitters and Forever 21 and things like that. They take these Native American patterns of textiles and just sort of put it out there like it's their own and they have perfect right to use it. Talk a little bit about that, about the cultural appropriation aspect and how wrong that is.
Totally. Well, I think when people think about cultural appropriation, it's very much from they think of Indigenous people as our ancestors, from the 1900s and the 18th century. And instead of seeing us for who we are now in contemporary time, because there aren't very many of us. I mean, our numbers are much smaller, and Los Angeles actually has the largest amount of urban Indians in the country, but no one recognizes us, no one sees us.
Well, yeah.
You know, and so I want people to see our humanity. I want them to not look at it as oh, we're taking from those Indians from the past. There's people who are working in our communities who are still holding those traditions very close to us and who actually make a living. Art is a hustle on the res, and people get by day to day by selling art or creating things that our ancestors passed down to us.
But I noticed that in a couple episodes later on where you're back on the reservation and you're talking about that, where you say that they sell their wares for $15 and then the markup is tenfold.
Totally.
And they don't end up ever making any money to get out of
it's not
the
sustainable.
cycle.
It's not sustainable
No.
because there isn't disposable income in our communities. And so my dream for Be Yellowtail is to be able to remove that. I want to be able to create a space where artisans are getting what they deserve, what they're worth. Our cultural designs are purchased with integrity. They're purchased at the true value that they're worth.
One of your quotes in the first episode was that you said you're tired of our representation through non-Native American lenses.
I mean, in every single industry, our images for Indigenous people are always shown through a non-Native lens. Literally, if you look through all the films, major films in the entertainment industry, every single industry that is Native American and the overall consciousness in the United States of who Native people are is never from our own mouths. And so what's really incredible about Alternative, maybe unbeknownst to people, is that the director and producer is Billy Luther, who's also Native. I feel very grateful that my story is in hands with someone I trust and who knows the overall purpose is to really authentically tell Indigenous stories, and it's me, you know? And so I think it's a really incredible opportunity that people get to follow my journey through fashion, see Native people as contemporaries and as artists and fashion designers and producers and directors, and see us for who we are and not for this stereotypical image of our ancestors.
Billy Luther is somebody who has worked a lot with World of Wonder. He's really carved out a niche for himself in telling Native American stories and Indigenous people stories, doing documentaries, and really showing a world like with Grab and things that a lot of people didn't know about.
Yeah, it's so important for every single voice to be at the table, to recognize our humanity, that people from all sorts of walks of life, no matter your color, your religion, your sexual orientation, that all people are represented in a true way. And Indigenous people are very much so left out of that.
In the second episode, you put on a fashion show at Native Fashion Now.
At the Smithsonian.
At the Smithsonian, which is a great honor.
Yes.
But by the same token, you were just talking a minute ago about the fact that why is it always about the past as opposed to something contemporary and now?
You know, that show was a great honor. You know, the women who put it on, I applaud them because they did such a great job trying to do it with the best integrity and best intentions. But even walking up to the Smithsonian, like even all the sculptures around are of like colonial figurines. So it's very strange that like you walk in and it feels like you're walking back in history. I mean, it's great for people to see that juxtaposition, but we're still in a museum. And, you know, I have relatives who their things were in that museum from, you know, the 18th century. It was great to see that mine are, you know, alive, breathing there with them, but at the same time, that's not where we belong.
Tell me about some of the other designers that you were with in that show and some of the other people out there that we should be on the lookout for.
Yeah, absolutely. So Patricia Michaels, she's one of the designers there, and I love her. She was on Project Runway. She was the very first Native woman to be on Project Runway, and she did such a great job, like, representing our communities. Her grandfather was very, very close to my great uncle. So it's very cool to see like where we are now and that we still have that connection as Native peoples.
One of my favorite moments in that second episode is when the Vogue people invite you to come and watch the sort of, it was a panel discussion, I think, and you get up and you just let them have it. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah,
what was it you did?
I've always considered myself pretty like reserved and shy, to be honest. And I was just in that room and this panel was going on and they opened it up to the room and everyone was asking questions and, you
Being
know,
very polite because Anna's there.
Yeah, and like,
everyone's a little intimidated.
when she walked in, people were like, and I was like, Aunt? You know, like, I mean, I respect her and stuff, but I didn't feel afraid. I didn't feel scared because I was also like, literally.
You're on a
like,
mission.
I was on a mission. I felt like my relatives sent me, like, to go say something. And so they were asking questions and people were raising hands and I wasn't getting picked. So at the end, the microphone did not get past me, so I just stood up. And I said, excuse me, I'm not about to be the only Native person here and not get an opportunity to speak. And they were just like, like,
Scooby-Doo?
who let her in, you know?
What was it you said? What was the?
So basically I said, as we're talking about inclusivity and diversity in this room, we also have to keep each other accountable. And I said, so Anna, and I looked at Leah. I did. I mean, but you know what? Afterwards, she gave me the nod, so I don't think she was mad at me for that.
I don't think that very many people like call her out. People sort of kowtow to her, and I think that maybe she respects that you.
I hope so, because I mean, I felt like that space was the right opportunity to do that. It wasn't like we were having those conversations. They're tough, they're uncomfortable, and you know, they were very much from like a BLM, Black Lives Matter perspective, and there were a lot of really great representation of designers who are in that movement. But we were missing. At that time, I thought this is the only opportunity I'm gonna be in Vogue. I got invited here, so I'm gonna say something. If I don't ever get to come back, like at least I said something, you know?
Afterwards, there was a girl who came up to you and sort of fangirled out on you. It was like so like impressed with you, and was like, I can't believe you were so fantastic.
Someone said, girl, you got some balls. And I was like, I guess so.
So once again, it's called Alternative. It's available on YouTube on the Storycast YouTube channel. They had partnered with PBS Digital and ITVS Studios. So tell me, when do new episodes drop and how often can we see them? And
Sure. So there are 6 episodes and they drop every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Fabulous.